we're here live. And this is the winning card. Yummy in My Tummy was the favorite stamp set of choice of the two that I showed between the Beautiful You stamp set and the Yummy in My Tummy stamp set. This is the winning stamp set. So I have my camera set up kind of weird, and I'm going to try to read comments that show up on my computer that I have close by. So we're going to see how this goes. So I think I have it set up at a good view that you can see my hands and see me create the project. But we're going to try it. So if you have any comments, please join in, and I'll try to answer them as I notice that they're there. So here we go, and it's probably going to have a little bit of a lag on my end. So this is an adorable card that is created with the Yummy in My Tummy, and this is a clear mount stamp set that I explained in my last video. I'm kind of nervous, so I'm shaking. So we're going to use two different pieces from this stamp set, and I have just taken them out of their package, and they have a little bit of a sticker on the back, and I have peeled it off, and I will put it on top of my clear block. And this clear block that I'm using is one by Stampin' Up, and it is block F. So I just put it on top of my block, and as you can see, I don't put my stickers on the block like they come, because I don't feel like it sticks as well as when I leave them off. And so since I'm pretty confident, I'm going to say that and then I'll probably mess up. So I'm pretty confident with my stamping that I feel like I still know where I'm putting it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with a piece of, I've cut my base, and I'll explain that in a minute, but I thought I'd start with our image and just get started on that. I'm going to refresh my screen to see if we have anybody joining us. Looks like we might have one joining us right now. I'm not sure if they're still here, but we're going to try it. All right, so we're going to start out with our stamp set, and I'm going to post all of the items that I've used and that I'm going to use on my blog later today, hopefully, so that you can see them as we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Archival Black basic black stamp pad, and it's kind of tricky to open it, so I thought I'd just do a little demonstration on that. So there's 3 dots down at the bottom, and you push forward, and then this will pop up, and then you just flip it over and click it into place. So it's really simple to use, but it's always a tip that's really helpful. So I'm going to take my basic black, and I'm going to just stamp down my image onto the basic black. Sometimes if the image is really big like this, I'll just take my stamp set and I will flip it over and do it this way, and that way I can see that it has covered my full area on my stamp set. So I'm just going to close that back up, which you pull right here, and then you flip and you click, and that is how that is done. All right, so I have my my Stampin' Piercing mat. It's used for some different projects in the Stampin' Up! Catalog, but I like to give an extra cushion underneath my stamp just to get a clear image, and it's best to use this piercing mat when you have a photopolymer stamp, the ones that are see-through. So I'm going to see if I can do this without making a complete mess. So I'm going to go towards the top of my paper, just leaving a little bit of a line, because I'm going to put a little ribbon at the bottom. So I'm going to just hold it just for a couple of seconds, and I might give it a little bit of a rub. I don't want to wiggle it back and forth, because that can leave a little blemish just like that. So what I'm gonna do is there's two sides to every paper. So I'm just gonna flip it over and try again. That is a rookie mistake, and it happens to me even though I've been stamping for at least 15 years now. So it happens to everyone. So thankfully, there are two sides. You can always try again. So I just inked that back up with my basic black, and I'm going to try again. This time I'm gonna hold a little bit more still if I can. I'm gonna hold it down there, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, give it a little bit of a rub, and then lift, and it still happened. Okay, you know what? I am gonna use this one because it's not very much, and I think that with the technique that we're gonna use with the watercoloring today, it's not really gonna matter. So that's the side we're gonna use. I'm just gonna show you how to roll with it. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so because we have our little guy, we're gonna start with the watercoloring. And I forgot to pull them out. So Stampin' Up's watercolor pencils are actually new in this Occasions catalog, and they have, as you can see, these different colors, 13 different colors that are all in our annual catalog, and these colors have been with Stampin' Up for quite a while, and they're pretty consistent. They don't like to cycle these colors in and out. They keep them for quite a while. So the colors that I've chosen to use today are Old Olive, which I'm just going to say was my very, very first stamp pad, my ink, my favorite color. When I started getting to know Stampin' Up, and that would have been in college. So I think I may have been dating Jeff at the time, so that would be almost 15, 16 years ago, back in college. And so Old Olive was my very, very first, and that just tells you how long they keep their items in the catalog. I'm also going to grab the Daffodil Delight for a yellow. It is going to be an accent color that we use on the horns and the little paws. So we're gonna start, and I'm gonna just show you how easy this is. So I'm gonna remove my piercing mat, and I'm going to start coloring. And this part, I could probably speed up, but I'll just try to visit with you while I go, and we'll see if I can do both things at once. We'll see if that's possible. So I'm gonna take my Old Olive, and I'm just gonna go around the edges. You can go lightly. I'm going a little bit heavier on this side, and we're gonna see that I have, on my card I practiced a little bit of a shading technique with my, my watercolor pencils. And so I'm just gonna go around kind of jagged. It's not really supposed to be perfect. That's the best thing about watercoloring, is that if it gets outside of the lines, kind of like that, it's really not gonna matter because it's unique and no one card is the same as the other one. So it really does add a really special, unique touch. So I'm just going around all these little furry spots on this little monster. He's so cute. When I saw this one in the catalog, I knew that this is one that I wanted to add to my collection because, you know, every kid goes through a monster phase where they like monsters or pretend to be monsters. I know my kids have. I could see this one being a really good Sully from the Disney Monsters, Inc. Show. You could totally color him as a Sully. And then, so we're going to do this with the green, and then we'll go a little bit around his belly, but I'm not going to go too heavy. I'm going to do it a little bit lighter. And I'm just taking my pencil and slowly going around the edges. Do we have any comments yet? Nope, that's totally fine. I don't mind. If you want to comment after the project, you can do that too. I'll respond that way too. I'm still getting used to doing these live feeds, and actually this is only the second video that I've ever even done of a tutorial in general, so they're all kind of new. So here's where it gets a little bit weird and you start to question what I'm really doing. So I am going through and I'm just giving him a couple of squiggly things that are not really in the same spot, but they kind of look a little bit strange. So I'm just gonna, just trust me, it'll be just fine. You don't have to worry. And then I'm gonna color his horns. I'm gonna go a little bit dark because I think that the bright yellow is just one of the prettiest colors ever. The paws I'm gonna do a little bit lighter. And again, you don't have to be perfect on that. So this, the interesting part about the belly is we are going to make a shaker card. One of my friends suggested that I do something inside of his belly. So I am going to try, I did my tester and it came out okay. I'm gonna make a couple of modifications on it, but we're gonna try it and we're just gonna be brave. I am not that brave of a person, but this is showing me that I can be. So I'm just gonna go on the inside of the belly. We're not actually gonna see a ton of the belly, so this will just give it a little bit of extra color on the inside. So that is the inside. And so now we're going to take the Bermuda Bay. Let's see if I can remember which one it is. I think, there it is, Bermuda Bay. And this is such a pretty color. It's like a teal color. And I'm just gonna go lightly. I found that this gives it a really fun blue background, and you don't have to be specific in where you're putting it. You just do a really light coloring all the way around. These colors are so soft and smooth. These watercolor pencils, they would be awesome for those adult coloring books that are out these days. I know that my daughter has used them a couple of times and really, really likes them. She's not too big on the coloring, but these just do such a nice job. And these colors, look how pretty those are together. So it really does go so easy. So that is all of the coloring that we're going to do on this first part. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take the aqua painter. And again, I will put all of the item numbers and the sizes of what I've cut my project out at. I will put all of that on my blog when I post this video with it as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze down. These are super cool. They come empty and they are refillable. So this, I think I've maybe refilled it once and I've had it for over a year now. And so you just put water in there, and I think I'm using the larger. It comes with a medium tipped brush and a large tip brush, and I think I'm using the large. So I will just squeeze to get the water to go into the barrel just a little. We don't need a ton, it kind of comes on its own. So now all we're gonna do is we're just gonna go painting. And I am going to try to stick on the same color, the green, and I'm just gonna, I circle my brush around and I can blend here and there, and I try to avoid the teeth, but you know, it'll dry. And you know what, if he has green teeth, there's a Whisper White watercolor pencil that we can just color it in at the end when we're done if we really don't like the color of his green teeth. So we're gonna stick to the green right now, and we're just gonna blend the color, go around it slow, and then we'll just go slow. We're just pushing the water around the pencil that we've already done. You can do a swirling motion, and then we'll just cover all of the green that we've colored. That Old Olive, it just is my favorite. I feel like it is a timeless color. So as you can see with that one, it has given him a little bit of darker, and you can always go back and color in if you don't like the places that the green adds, but I feel like it gave him a little bit more personality. So when I'm done with that green, what I'm doing is I'm brushing my watercolor brush onto a scratch paper just to get the green out, and then I'll go through with the yellow, and I'll just do a light brush over the yellow. It is super, super easy. And now we'll just go along the inside, just just around the edge, because again, we're going to cut a circle out of his belly with my fancy Big Shot. So that's the yellow. And now we're going to go through and do the Bermuda Bay. So this, again, can be really messy. Like, you really don't have to be careful where you put in this brush. The blue can mix into the green, the yellow, it's not going to matter at all at this point. So I just am going around painting. It can be so relaxing to me. And if my video is getting darker, it's because I'm using the sun outside to give my lighting. It's just such a beautiful day. We haven't had a sunny day in so long. I have all of my windows open upstairs, and the kids and I have been looking out the window, just enjoying the blue sky and the clouds. So I'm going to push a little bit more water, because this part, it can get a little bit more wet and it'll blend a little bit quicker. So we're going to find out if my mistake is going to really show through. It might a little bit, but I don't think it's enough to bother me. I'm still going to be thinking that he's pretty cute. Hey, maybe I'll change the place where I want my sentiment to go, and I'll have his hand holding it, and then you really won't see. There's so many things you can do with that. All right, so that is our cute little guy. I'm just going to brush my aqua painter and move that to the side. And now we're done with our watercolor pencils. That was so quick and easy. So I like to put things away as I go. And so there's little numbers under each one if you want to keep them in order. Lots of people don't really care. Some just throw them in a bag. That's totally fine. I have just a touch of the OCD type tendencies. So we're just going to go with it. All right. So this little guy is still a little bit wet. And so if you want to blow on him, you can. The watercolor really does dry fairly quickly. You can wave him around a little bit. If you have a heat gun, you could also use your heat gun to just dry him off a little bit quicker. So I'm just going to set him aside up there, and I am going to move to folding my base. So I'm going to show you what I've chosen for my base and a couple of the other pieces. I am using my favorite color, the Old Olive. It is cut at 5.5 wide, and it is by 8.5 long. And so I'm going to use my, if I can find it, I don't know if I moved this piece over from my other room. I'm going to use my bone folder. I have a fancy little bone folder. When I first got my fun bone folder and I posted a picture on my birthday, I had people think it was a pregnancy test. Definitely not a pregnancy test. I just was super excited that it has my name on it. And I'm a part of the Pink Stampers team. And so that was one thing that I got when I ordered my Pink Stamper shirt. And so I just want to clarify, not a pregnancy test. I'm not announcing anything. Okay, so now I'm going to adhere our base, our top layer, next layer to our base of our card. And I like to use the Stampin' Up! Snail adhesive. It goes really quick. I kind of like the fact that it makes a little sound so I know it's working. And that is as fast as that goes. So this is some of our designer series paper that is actually in our Celebration catalog right now. So if with every qualifying order, you can get one free item for every $50 that you spend out of the occasions, out of the annual catalog, anything on the clearance, anything that totals $50 will get you one choice of a Celebration item. And so I got this DSP for free with my order, and it comes in 12 by 12 sheets, and it is called Carried Away, and these are just some of the different patterns that come with it. It has some beautiful colors, and then all of them have patterns on the reverse side, so that is super fun. So I'm going to put that aside, and I have adhered my base layer down to the card. And I forgot one step that's kind of important when you're stamping. I have my Stampin' Scrub, and this is very old. This was my very first Stampin' Scrub, and since I have bought this, they do have a new one, and it is bigger and it fits more things, and so I just haven't gotten around to getting it yet. So I'm going to use our Stampin' Mist and our Stampin' Scrub to clean my stamp. And the Archival Black will not, it'll leave a little bit of a stain on your stamps, but again, like cleaning these off, it'll work every single time. So it really doesn't hurt the stamps at all. And the Stampin' Mist and conditions your stamps, so it's completely worth it. And all I have to do to clean the Stampin' Scrub is to stick it through in my sink in my kitchen, and I just rinse it out. I just run the water over it. I can use soap if it's really having trouble, but I have never really needed to. And then I just put it in my dish dryer just to drain, just like that. It is so easy. So we'll see if this little guy is dry now. Yep, he totally is. Perfect. So this part is the fun part. It's going to get a little bit tricky. So I have a layering circles framelit, and I don't know if I have my package, so I'll have to show that later. So this comes in a package that has various sizes of the circles framelits, and this one fits perfectly inside of his little belly. So I'm going to show you my Big Shot, and I'm going to move my background paper really quick, and I'm going to hope that I'm still in the frame. This is my Stampin' Up! Big Shot. It's made, or it's created by the Sizzix, and it's made specifically for Stampin' Up! And so we'll see if it likes this table. I haven't used it on this table before. So I have my magnetic platform and my precision base plate, and then I'm going to put my clear plate over the top. My circle is in place of the belly, and then I just roll it through just like a pasta maker. And so I'll go forward, and then since I'm sitting on this side of the table, I'm going to go backwards. That might be flipped around and reversed for what you're seeing. I'm hoping that it's right. But look how easy that came out. Perfectly. So I'm going to set my framelit aside, and then I'm going to keep this little piece, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with it in just a second. So that little monster's done. I'm going to put my Big Shot to the side again, and I'll get my background mat out again. All right. So here we have our little guy, and I have cut out, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it very well, but this is a window sheet that I have cut out. It is a 2x2 square, and what we're going to do to it is we are going to adhere it, and it kind of, my example kind of shows you that we are covering up that circle. And what I do, I'm going to get my Scotch tape really quick. We are going to tape this down just using some basic Scotch tape, just the sides, so that he has a little window see-through, and that way our sequins, when we add the sequins inside of his belly, they will not get out, and you'll be able to shake the card, and it's so cute. So we are using just normal Scotch tape and the window sheet. I'll give the information, but it's all stuck in there, and this one we'll use in just a little bit. So next, what we're going to do is I have cut out another one of those patterned paper from the DSP of the Carried Away that I was telling you about, and that is also what this layer is. So that is a part of our base. And so what we're going to do with this is it is going to go in his tummy so that when the sequins are not showing, you'll still be able to see the cute little polka dots. So what we're going to do is I have some foam strips that are in the, I think these are in our annual catalog now, but I'm going to take some scissors, and I'm going to use my bad scissors, the ones that could be sticky, and I just really want it to be about as long as the window sheet so that all the sequins can stay really big in his in his belly. So I'm going to cut, I have on my mat here, each of these little squares can tell me how long I'm cutting. So I'm going to cut about 2 inches, and I need 4 strips. So I'm going to take one foam strip, and I'm going to put it right here, and I can use my window sheet as my example. So I'm going to just go using that window sheet as my example right around this in a square for my little guy. I may have needed to cut one a little bit longer, but I think it'll go. We're going to test it. It'll work. Perfect. So we are going to put our little sequins inside of his belly, and I am using the Brights sequins assortment, and the Brights is the collection that the Old Olive is in, so it coordinates with our card. So we're going to put those sequins inside of his little belly, and then when it's time to adhere the card, then we can do it that way. I am also going to use some of these other strips. This is the part that I'm modifying, because when I did the card the last time for my tester card, I left a really big gap, and I did the foam strips around the whole square and left a lot more space, and you can't always see the sequins in there. And so what I'm doing now is making it so that the place is a lot smaller, and you should be able to see sequins more with this more close together look. So I'm going to put some foam strips around the card a little bit more to help just hold them up so that this whole layer is going to be lifted. These foam strips are super, super cheap, and a little goes a long, long way. So I've been able to cut them up and use them for different things. And it's been super, super nice. So what I'm going to do first is peel the backing off of each little foam strip one at a time, trying to not get the sequins touching any of them. We'll see. So they each have 2 sides that have the backing on them. One, you'll peel it up when you put it onto your paper, and then the next one you can do after that. So this one is going to go right there, touching all of the little foam strips. So now we're going to see how we did. Look how cute that is. So then you can still see the sequins at the bottom, and shake him around. That's going to be so cute. All right, so now before we adhere this to our base, we are going to add a piece of, oh, I just totally kicked you. I'm so, so sorry. We are going to add a piece of the thick baker's twine that is the Bermuda Bay. That matches the background that we did. So I am going to use my snail adhesive, and I'm going to just do a little bit of adhesive. I probably could have done that first. You can learn from my mistake, but it'll fit right down there at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this little piece of thick baker's twine to the back of the card, and I'm going to just fold it around 2 times, and I again will have the measurements for this on my blog. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add a little piece of Scotch tape to the base and just connect that just in case if that thread would want to go anywhere. It'll be stuck down a little bit more secure that way. All right, so now what I'm going to do is, since we have finished this layer, to put on our base, we're going to take our snail adhesive and we're going to put it, there we go. Probably could have done that first too, but that's okay. So it's going to line up just like that on our card. And then we can see our cute little card there. So we're almost done, but we're not quite there yet. So we're going to take the little piece inside of his belly, and we are going to use the Watermelon Wonder, which is the coordinating color that matches the background paper. We're going to open our stamp pad up, and we are going to pull out the other stamp set from the same set that says Hugs. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that on there, and I am going to ink that up real good in that Watermelon Wonder, and I'm going to stamp it on to this. Here, we'll do another one. I didn't hold it down firm enough. Maybe I'll put my piercing mat. So we're going to put our piercing mat down. I'm going to push 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, much better. So we'll close up our ink pad and get out our Stampin' Scrub. And I use the lid for my washing side and the base for my drying side, and it's as clean just like that. So now what we're going to do, we'll move the piercing mat again. I'm going to take my Stampin' Up! Paper snips. I don't use these to cut my adhesive strips, but I'm going to use them to cut off the pieces around this, and we're going to make a little rectangle. Just like that. All right, so we're going to cut all that, and then we have this cute little Hugs. And now here's where the tricky part's going to come. We're going to put this, we're going to be sneaky. I'm going to put snail adhesive on the back of that. This is my completed card that I used for my beginner, just to kind of test out how I was going to do this. And now, here's how you can be sneaky when you're making cards. That little black mistake that I made, we're going to put this right over the top of it, and we just mix that up. So there we go. This was the winning set between the two choices, and I think that they both came out really cute, but you can see the different shading that we did with the watercolored pencils. I was going to tell you that the watercolored pencils were so popular from the New Occasions catalog that they have gone on back order, and they're unorderable right now. You can put them on your wish list, and I can let you know when they become available again, but they are amazing and worth the wait. So I wanted to give that little heads up. I will put all of that information with my post when I post it on my blog. And if you have any questions or comments, or if you just want to chat along with me on the video, just you can leave a comment below there. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for participating in choosing a stamp set. I hope you had as much fun as I did, and I hope you like these cute little shaker cards that we did. I think they came out super, super cute. So I hope you have a great day, and I will be posting later to see if there's a time when we can do a live feed and more of you are available at a specific time. So I'll do a poll on my Facebook page really soon for that. But who doesn't like watching someone else put together a project and seeing how easy it is? That hardly took us any time at all. So I hope you had fun, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.